Un, deux, voilà. Vas-y, rentre et ferme la porte. There we go. Hello again, everyone. Good evening, Julie and Jack. We're back here in Angers for the third talk of the day. I'm very glad to present you Jack and Julie from Amsterdam. It's a huge opportunity to have you there, and it makes the challenge even more international because you're from Amsterdam, Netherlands. So I'll be very pleased to listening your conference and all the students as well. So it's all yours. You've got 25 minutes, and we'll take again all the questions from Twitter after the conference. Give us 10 seconds and we'll get back to you, Julie and Jack, and it's all yours.
Thank you very much.
All done.
So, okay. Can you see it? Perfect. Okay, good evening everyone. On behalf of GreenIT Amsterdam, we are very proud to present you today the state-of-the-art data center market in Amsterdam. So, in Amsterdam, it's one of the main data center hubs. Indeed, data centers are enabler for the digital disruption that we are all facing now, but that has also a lot of opportunities. Data, as well as data center, cost energy and cost money. For example, we like to take this example of the very famous video that you all know, the Gangnam Style. And for example, one of the very interesting numbers is like 2 billion views, equal to the annual energy consumption of cities, French cities, just like Mérignac near Bordeaux or Quimper in Bretagne. So looking at videos on YouTube, downloading videos and streaming videos cost a lot of energy for data center, which means that the data are continuing to grow. It's very crucial for the digital economy because we are entering a digital economy, and that's for sure that we won't come back to what we've seen before. And data center are infrastructure that needs to be connected all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week, every day of the year. But those impacts on data center are a huge cost and also an environmental cost, such as CO2 emission. But those problems brings also a lot of opportunities for the sustainability and the energy transition. In Amsterdam, we are one of the leading data center market. As you can see, the Amsterdam Internet Exchange, we are among the 10 in Europe and in the world. And then the market of the data center brings a lot of interesting policy. In Amsterdam, as I say, we are one of the 4 main hubs in Europe. 2/3 of the data center market are located in the Amsterdam region, and it's continuing to grow almost 20% per year. So there is a lot of impact on the on the urban planning, and also a lot of challenge to enable. Mais non. Bah si. Ah bah ouais. Et là c'est bon? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. C'est bon? Ah là là. Bon ben, je vais le faire en français là pour aller plus vite. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, back to English. Data cost energy, downloading, streaming, seeing video on the internet. It's a continued growth for the data, for the digital economy, but also lots of interesting perspective for the energy transition. Digital gateway to Europe, Amsterdam, one of the leading data center markets. And then I was here. We are, the data center market is 2/3 of this growth is located within the Amsterdam region, and it's increasing 20% per year. And this public and private cooperation allow these markets to save energy. As you can see, 15%, and it's continuing to grow. The government is setting up targets, European target, national targets, and then the cities are applying those targets in order to work towards renewable energy, circular economy, energy efficiency, and most importantly, a bottom-up approach where citizens are also contributing to this energy transition. When we zoom in, we can see that Europe is setting up targets and directives, and then the country, Netherlands, is applying those. Tac. Oui, en fait. Là, tu vois? Tu vois là? Ouais, attends. Hop. C'est bon? Ok. Yeah, the national agreement and then purely tailored sustainability action plan for the region of Amsterdam, and then the cities are also driving those national targets within their own cities. So we have a collection of cities that are working together towards the energy transition, but as well as greening the data center and the IT market.
Okay, floor to me. As we've just seen, ICT can be a great source for disruption. Obviously, we're not aiming for the type of disruption we've just seen. We're aiming for a different type of disruption, like the ones you see here on this screen. First, top left, you see an engine, and an engine used to be a mechanical thing, moving parts. Now, an engine is a digital thing. There's a lot of sensors and a lot of actuators, and everything generates data, which goes to a data center. The same thing you see in your house. Your house is fully equipped with sensors, and it will be more and more a source of data. Different types of disruptors. For example, we are mapping how much sunlight will fall on your house. Different ways of transferring values and assets, different ways of managing traffic flows. And all of that generates data which goes to a data center, which is a thing that uses a lot of energy. So if you have all these sources of disruption and you want to optimize that for energy efficiency, and you've moved past the obvious. You stopped wasting energy in ways that you can directly see. Then you have to start working with a model to reduce energy in places where you cannot directly see it. This is one of these models. This is the one that we are using, where we say first you look at the software application. Software needs to use minimum amount of computing resources. Then you look at the virtualized platform. You lump a bunch of servers together and you pretend it's one. You do that so you don't waste the resources of individual servers. Next step, you optimize the hardware. How much ICT can you put in a rack and how much are you using it? And then you reduce the overhead. You cool it efficiently, you power it efficiently, etc. So that's one part. We also focus on another part. We focus on the source of the energy. So more ICT clustered in a data center means that you can clearly see where the energy is being used. They are very, very large buildings which use an insane amount of energy, and that energy comes from an energy source. So let's start optimizing that link, the connection between the data center and the energy source. We want energy, smarter grids, and actually going beyond that, if we stop looking at software as something we need to optimize, we see that these data centers and this software becomes a tool that we can use to optimize the energy system. We can use data and data centers to optimize smart and renewable energy grids. I will briefly dive into that topic because currently, and I know that we're not alone in this, this is a topic that is being investigated thoroughly, and a lot of industrial actors like data centers, but also like other types of buildings, they want to use the capacity of data centers for greening an urban area. Here 3 examples from Amsterdam. Top left, Amsterdam Southeast area. This is where the city of Amsterdam started from a smart city project to look at what kind of energy users and heat users do we see in the Amsterdam Southeast area. This is one action that results in plans for heat reuse. Second, top right, I will show more about that later, looking at a plan. How can we extend a logistics park with green data centers? And top right, this is here, we can actually see this building when we look out of our window. This is a data center that's being built as a tower instead of as a flat and low building. This is something we do because all areas where data centers are, they are unique and different, like the data centers who are unique and different. And this new trend of building data centers up in the sky offers new opportunities for example, seeing a data center as a circular object. If it's not a data center in 10 years, what can it be? Can it be a hotel or can it be an office? These are new options that you see when you start thinking differently about your buildings. And all these different ways of trying to integrate data centers in an urban landscape, they are being supported by R&D projects. This is an example of one of these R&D projects. Here, we worked with actors with 7 companies and research institutes in 5 countries on building new management tools for data centers. We stack small sources of energy flexibility to create a large source of energy flexibility. This is a type of innovation where you actually disrupt the market, because when you ask a data center, is this possible? They will say no. And if you ask it a year later, they say, well, maybe. And now, slowly but surely, data centers and other companies are going to investigate options to do it themselves instead of looking at what's happening in different places. We're very happy for that. Data centers can do that because the ICT tools become more and more attuned and more tailored for the data center sector themselves. A map you see here is displaying data on heat consumption and heat production. specifically the heat production by the large producers of heat. You can see the blue dots, they are data centers. Other large ones are hospitals. And of course you see a lot of residential buildings as producers and also as consumers of heat. What you see here is that there is a mismatch. The heat is being produced in different places than where the heat is being used. So that means that you need to put in an effort to make the connection between heat users and heat producers. Different kind of map. While in the previous map we were looking at existing buildings, here you see a map where planning for new buildings, specifically on the lower right, with the growth of the data center, 20% per year, every year. Sooner or later, there's going to be a need for new areas where you can build data centers. And if you have noticed that there is a mismatch between where you're producing heat and where you're using heat, then perhaps it's time to start building data centers in spots where you can actually use and where you actually need the heat and where you can use the power of a data center for grid balancing. And that's being done here. Actually, this is an old slide. Currently, there's a second area in the Amsterdam Western Harbor area where they're doing exactly the same. Very large space, 200 megawatts of data center being built next to residential areas. So that's what you can do when you start looking at ICT as not something you do on your own computer. It's not an email that you send. It's the email with the attachment that's being sent through a very large list of companies, and that's being stored in a physical area where it's consuming a lot of energy and producing a lot of heat. We started working on this like a lot of other clusters in Europe, like for example the work that Agit is doing in France and the GreenIT Swiss organization and Sustainability for London. We're doing this with a group of companies and research institutes to make sure that we can actually capture all these different areas of producing and consuming energy and designing systems for a greener approach. We do this from our mission. Our mission is to increase energy efficiency and decrease carbon emissions. We do that by scouting and by testing and exploring smart IT solutions. And in the end, by creating opportunities for others to use these innovative tools for actually completing the energy transition. Julie, could you please tell something about projects?
And currently we have multiple innovation projects. We are invited to collaborate and participate to many events throughout Europe. Mainly we are focusing on Netherlands, but we are also increasing our network in France, in the UK, in Germany, in Spain, everywhere to increase the awareness of GreenIT, greening by and greening of IT, and to create opportunities for leaders within the sector to enable more impact and more action. This is our current project. 3 are European projects where we work with different European cities, and we also have national projects where we are directly working with the government to settle and initiate concrete projects for the greening of the IT sector. This is a nice visual of our impact, where we are actually working energy reduction, renewable energy, but as well as energy efficient data center, smart IT solution, and smart infrastructure. So we have a good overview of where and how we are going and the impact we have on this sector. And this is our new initiative with Agit, the GreenIT Global, to increase awareness on this sector and to initiate activities and projects each other, the GreenIT Global. And that is the end of our presentation. So thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Are you still there, Julie?
Yeah.
We're still there.
Okay. Oh yeah. There. Okay. Do we have any question from the audience? Everything clear? Right. Okay. I might go for a question myself. This afternoon we had a consultant for the second talk of the challenge. She was Valérie Schneider, a consultant, and she talked about circular economy. And my question to Valérie will be the same to you. How do you see GreenIT in the next few years? How GreenIT is part of the strategy in the companies in Netherlands. Can you tell us a bit more about what will be GreenIT in a few years, and will it be a real added value for our students here who will be in the market in the next few years?
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
We see a progression. GreenIT started as CSR, corporate social responsibility. Then there was policy that needed compliance, so it was an obligation. And now it's moving into an area that that is actually creating opportunities for companies. So at the same time, the topics that are being addressed also change. Well, at first it was a focus on energy reduction. If you use less energy, it costs you less money. Next step is a focus on continuity. If ICT grows so hard, if it keeps being more and more, it becomes a scalability issue. You need to design properly, otherwise you won't have IT. And the next step is the added value that the ICT company can deliver to other sectors, for example, using ICT for smarter planning. Relating that to the circular economy. Circular economy is definitely one of the next steps where you take a life cycle approach to your entire IT stack. So the IT that comes into your data center, for example, it doesn't appear magically, it's being constructed, so try to impact that. That means that you talk to other companies, that you need a lot of data to map the entire value chain. And am I still here?
Yeah, all good.
Yes. And all of these steps, it means that you need more than IT people to solve the problem. You need cooperation across a lot of industries. So you actually need a systems approach or a design approach. And I think that...
Guys, est-ce que vous pouvez couper votre son, s'il vous plaît? Est-ce que vous pouvez couper votre son, monsieur Paris Saint-Germain?
Oh, it's Amaury?
Okay, Julie, you can continue, I think so.
Ah, tu nous entends, c'est bon?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Ah, ok.
So I was wrapping up. The last thing I wanted to say is that with IT at the core of all business processes and sustainability at the core of IT, we're just getting started.
Okay,
so yes,
yeah.
endless opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't think we have other question. I'd like to thank you again for this talk. And have a good night. To all participants, I remind you that we'll have the last conference tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right. And Julie, Jack, thank you again. Have a good evening and hope to see you later. All right? Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us here.
Bye-bye.